You're listening to At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production.
Welcome to this edition of At the Mic. I'm your host, Keith Malinak. In this episode, I sit down with Melissa Gonzales, a former Blaze TV employee who's involved in the world of sports broadcasting and is a former host of a show about cats. Melissa spent time recently where she discussed her past dreams, her future dreams, and how much fun it is to try and plan a wedding in the middle of a global pandemic. Let's get things started with this week's guest, Melissa Gonzales on At the Mic. Thanks so much for making time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's good to be here and talk to you.
Absolutely. So if people aren't familiar, you used to work here at the Blaze.
That's correct.
Now you're off doing your own thing.
Yes.
Which I guess is in some ways exciting, some ways not, but
It is exciting. After I worked at the Blaze, I started freelancing video production on my own. So I do a lot of sports, I do some photography, and that's really what I've been doing the last, I guess, couple years.
So camera operator, but beyond that, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So camera operator, replay operator, graphics. When you do sports production, you kind of have to learn as much as possible, and that keeps you busy. So that's what I've been doing.
That is a common thread. That is something that I recall Sean Foster, who was on a previous episode. Yeah, he's learned all the aspects of it from start to finish. So I can imagine. Now, you were born and raised here in Dallas.
I was,
right?
yes.
Okay. And have you ever lived anywhere else, or you've been right here?
Always in Dallas.
It's a great place.
It is. I think one of the few places I'd be willing to move to is Denver. Because I feel like it has a little bit of the Texas vibe, but the weather is cooler.
Okay.
And I think it's more manageable. And you have mountains and snow. So I would be open to Denver, but I'm not really a fan of moving to the West or East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
California has exerted a lot of influence on Colorado.
Yeah.
But Idaho is a great secret that Californians are slowly but surely realizing. So Idaho is probably about, I don't know, a generation behind where Colorado is.
So I actually have a friend that moved up to Idaho like 3 or 4 years ago, and his wife works for Boise State, and they love it. And it's actually like a really active, well, they live in Boise, so it's an active city, and they love it there. So I've heard really good things. I just, like you said, no one ever talks about Boise.
Right, and that's why I kind of hesitated there. Like, do you want to?
Yeah.
Because it was 20 years ago. And I think I've told this story before, so to the audience, I apologize. I don't want to make this about me, but I just want to point out that after 9/11, Carrie and I were given, there used to be an airline called America West, and based on not having kids and being able to bump and move flights around, we ended up with $500 vouchers to fly anywhere over the next year. And I always wanted to go to Boise, and so we spent 5 days there. That is such a great town. You're absolutely right. Your friend made a wise choice, but I mean, you could do snow skiing there.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. No, it's a beautiful town. We loved it, and so you might want to consider that if
I'll check it out. Yeah, it'll be on the list.
On the list, yeah, sure. So you're not married, but you are, congratulations, recently engaged.
Yes, I am.
That's
yes,
very
exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have a date picked out and everything? Maybe.
So we're hoping. Yes, soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to make just even simple plans right now during this pandemic. I can't imagine trying to plan a wedding.
It's a little bizarre. Like I've tried to check for wedding gowns and venues, and some aren't even entertaining the notion of letting you visit the venue. And then wedding gowns, you have a time limit, which maybe they had before. I don't know. This is my first time being engaged, but it's you only have 90 minutes and you can only try 5 dresses. And then after that, you're done. So it's an interesting time to be engaged and trying to get married.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
No. I don't care for the new normal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so
I'm ready for it to end as well.
Right. So you went to school at the University of North Texas.
Right.
That's a common thread in the Blaze building.
Yeah.
So what did you study up there?
So undergrad was rehab studies. At that time, I thought I was going to be a counselor. Then I worked in higher education until I think my mid-20s. And then I was just you know what? I'm not really happy. This isn't what I want to do. So I did a 180, quit my full-time job, did an internship with the Cowboys and just kind of went along that path, kept meeting people, getting work, and now I'm self-employed, working in sports and doing photography.
That must be tough working in sports with the situation as it is, with sports so limited. First, it was on a hiatus that almost never ended, it felt like. And now it's like you live in Dallas. There's no sports being played in Dallas. So how does that affect you? Probably in a very big way, huh?
Quite a bit. I was actually just talking to, my fiance, Steven, and we both work in the same industry, which is wonderful.
Oh, no. And see, oh, gosh, no, that is a bad situation right now, huh?
Yeah. So it's interesting because it's been months since working the last Maverick game at American Airlines Center. Like, that was, I think, one of the last games before the NBA shut down due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's kind of baffling because you just don't anticipate that with work. Like, you prepare for maybe getting laid off or a slow period, but you never anticipate just absolutely no work. And Dallas is like a wonderful place for work. Like, it's a hot spot for all types of work that I do. And it's just nothing right now. So it's just kind of, it's an interesting situation to be in. But
yeah, and I imagine that when like baseball was talking about starting up, maybe you're doing all the games at the Rangers ballpark, right?
Yeah.
I bet ears in your household perked up like, oh, really? Oh, this is going to work? Oh, no, they're not going to do that here. So you went to school to be a counselor.
Yeah.
You ended up being in video production.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, what was your dream job then?
So realistically, I thought I was going to be a basketball coach. So I had kind of like,
Did you play basketball then?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
What position?
I was like a 3.
Okay, that's power forward?
It's
I am not
it's
a
like
basketball
a wing.
guy.
It's like in between like a guard and a forward.
Oh, yeah,
I guess.
four. Hold on a second. So hold on. 1 is the point guard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got that. I got 5 is the center.
Yeah.
Yes, I got that. 3 is the shooting. No, 2 is the shooting guard.
It depends. 3 typically can be like the shooting guard, whatnot.
Okay, all right.
But they've changed a lot too because the game's changed. What a center was 10 years ago versus now in the NBA is completely different. So, but yeah, I wanted to be a basketball coach, and then I just lost the passion for it. I still enjoy sports, but I just decided to not do that and go in a completely different direction.
Be honest with me. Were you good at basketball?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you play in college?
I didn't. So I played 3 years in high school and just kind of decided, I got burned out is what I would say. Like, it was a lot and I put everything into it and just was like, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. And so I quit after my junior year and then just focused on other stuff. So it's been interesting. Like, I feel like I've had a lot of different paths. And they've all brought different opportunities. So it's worked out, but it's interesting to think way back when how it all started.
And being involved with the production element of sports is something that, pandemic aside, you want to stay a part of, huh?
I think so. I love it. It's a lot of fun. It only takes a pandemic for you to realize how much you enjoy what you do, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that the world gets back to normal soon. So if you ever have any downtime, and maybe you've had more lately than you would care to admit, what are some of the things you like to do for fun?
So to go along with the sports, I'm a pretty athletic and active individual. So I enjoy playing sports with Steven. I enjoy disc golf, basketball. We'll play pretty much anything, go for walks.
So he's into sports too.
Yeah, we both enjoy sports, and he loves basketball as well. So we love college football. We love just sports in general. So yeah.
Okay. But you have other hobbies, such as creative writing, correct?
I do. I enjoy writing, yeah.
So what do you, if you're you know what, I'm going to sit down and write something. Maybe that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Maybe you just get inspired and then go from there. But is it fiction? Is it movie, screenplays, stuff like that? What do you got?
Yeah, so it's definitely fiction. I don't write as much as I used to. I've been wanting to get back into it. But I'll write screenplays. That's what I did for a really long time, just for fun. And this was early 20s, but I submitted my script to an HBO person, and I paid them for it. But
paid them to read it.
Yeah, just to get information.
How does that work? So how did you seek that out? I've never heard of such a thing where where you approach somebody and say, I will pay you to read my script. How do you find that person?
So I went to like this thing, I forget what it was called, at the Texas Theater. And he was like one of the guest speakers. And he was talking about like how to get into like the film industry or to like be able to make a movie. And so he was just like, I read people's scripts. And he gave me like a great discount. I mean, I didn't really pay that much.
Okay.
And I just kind of wanted to see like how good or how terrible I was. And
so where can we see the movie that he critiqued?
Right. The funny thing is, like, that movie that I wrote was so dumb. Like, there's no way I would ever like let anyone read it.
See,
not even my fiance.
Isn't that something? Because Pat and I have talked about destroying old radio tapes that we thought were at the time, oh, this is so good, and then we go back and listen, oh no, not so much. Yeah. And I think it would be that way with some of the things I've written over the years as well. But is there something either, I was going to say on paper, is there something on a hard drive somewhere or something that just lives in your mind that, you know what, one of these days this is going to be the winner? You got anything like that?
I do. Like in my mind, I've been thinking of like a certain thing, like an idea, and like, but I just don't have enough. I don't know if it's like points or just there's not enough there to make it into a movie yet.
So it's
just an idea. There's no like foundation for it. You know what I mean? Like,
so it didn't sync up. Your ideas didn't sync up with the pandemic where you were on lockdown and you're like, all right, now I'm gonna do this. No, it didn't happen, huh? Okay, well maybe one day, you know.
Right.
That might end up. You never know.
It's true.
If you ever get that moment of inspiration where like, okay, now this makes sense. It's time to start typing. Do it, you know?
I will, yeah.
Who knows where it could lead? Now, there's something creative that you, I guess, used to do.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going.
I do.
And because I'm not going to say I'm upset, but I mean, I was never invited to be a part of your show.
It's true.
It doesn't exist anymore, correct?
It's been on a long hiatus, okay, so I would say that.
We're talking about the greatest show ever was. And it was the Cat Chat Show, right? Or
yes.
Cat Chat Show.
Yes.
Okay. So how many episodes did you do?
I think I've got about 3 or 4 on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. So wait, hold on. If somebody wants YouTube, I guess no. You probably don't have like a channel or something like that.
No, I don't. I mean, I can look on my.
Yeah, you find it and send it to me later because I want to make sure everyone can check these. They're great episodes. They're all about cats.
You know, I think maybe I got like put too much pressure on it, but I was just kind of like, I just didn't know where to take it. You know what I mean? Like, how many episodes can I have about just talking about like cats?
True. Yeah.
Although when what was that show on Netflix, the Tiger King or the?
Oh yeah, Tiger King.
I was like, this would be a great episode to talk about with people that love cats because that was a pretty crazy episode.
Yeah. How many years ago did you do that?
Gosh. Probably 3.5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, resurrected.
Right?
That's not a Pet Sematary.
You know what's so funny
reference.
is everyone that I've worked with here at the Blaze before, it's like, where is it? Like, what happened to it? And I'm like,
it comes up quite a bit around
does.
here. Yeah. All right.
So I'll be thinking about it.
And so you do have a cat.
I do. Her name is Gracie. She's a little black cat.
Ooh, she bad luck.
I hate that.
Okay, sorry.
How dare you?
My bad. So, is she fun? Is she mean? Tell me about Gracie.
No, she's not mean.
Okay.
She's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, very good.
She's a little guarded. When I first got her, it's been about 5 years, and she wouldn't let me pet her. And she was kind of just very standoffish.
How did you find her in an alleyway or?
No, I just went to the shelter.
Okay.
And
she's a skittish girl. Huh?
The little skittish cat. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, like, when I went to the shelter, I was not planning to get a black cat because at that point I was just like, oh, cats are bad luck, which they're not.
Black cats. I love this. I love how defensive you are. Yeah. I don't like that.
It's a touchy subject for me, Keith.
I'm seeing that. Let's unearth this a little bit more.
Right. But I don't know what it was. Like, I just saw her and her little like green eyes through her little shelter case.
How long did it take her to warm up to you?
So I think it was like a few days before she let me pet her. So not too bad, but it's been progressive. She now snuggles with me. She didn't do that for like the first 2 or 3 years. Like it's been like a process to get her. Yeah. And then she's getting better being around other people now. So when I have friends over, she actually stays out. She doesn't go and hide. So she's growing.
Yeah,
just
obviously.
like all of us are. She's growing as well.
That's good. Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, see, you have to bring back Cat Chat Show.
Yeah.
Because I remember, hold on, I actually Talk about a memory. It was at Cat Chat Show 1. Is that right? Did
that's
I just
right.
nail that?
That's the Twitter handle. Yeah, so follow that if you want. I mean, I'll post something soon.
Yeah, I wonder when's the last time you posted something. You know what? I'm gonna
ages.
Yeah, it's been
months.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what is your favorite type of music? Does Gracie appreciate it?
I think she does.
Okay.
I really like. I feel like it depends on my mood, but I like EDM music.
I tell you, can I just stop you for a second?
Did you have to look that up?
Seriously, no. I've seen that come up so many times in my world in the last month or so. EDM. And I'm an Edmonton Oilers hockey fan. And I keep seeing this everywhere. And I'm like, what is Edmonton mute? What is this? So anyway, I finally figured out because, see, I'm old.
Yeah.
So I see.
Totally understandable.
Right. So anyway, electronic dance music.
Yes.
And I mean... do you relax? Are you able to relax when you listen to that? Or is that more of like a keep your energy up?
Keep my energy up. My favorite group is Odessa. So they're EDM. So I think it's a little bit because they're my favorite group that's my favorite genre. But it depends. Like they actually have some really good slow songs that are, I don't know, they're not what you would think EDM would be. But I also like alternative music as well. It just depends on my mood. But those are my go-to is probably alternative and then EDM.
Okay, very good, very good. Does he enjoy that kind of music too?
He likes hip-hop.
So how does that play out? How does a typical music listening session in the car when you're going somewhere, how's that work?
So fortunately right now he lets me pretty much pick the music and then every now and then I'm like, hey babe, like do you want one of your songs? And so I play like whatever.
Oh, you throw him a bone.
I keep it even, I try to.
That's fun. That's cool. All right.
Yeah.
You're born and raised in Dallas. And obviously one of the biggest legends in Dallas sports history is Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, yes.
Did I never pronounce it right. Did I get it right? Dirk, you say his name.
Dirk Nowitzki.
So I did it right. Okay, very good.
Yeah, this was a few years ago. It was just after their title run. And so, the city of Dallas was on cloud nine when the Mavericks finally brought home a title. So we went to the Dallas Symphony, and I was dating this guy at this time, and it was like the intermission. And so we go outside, and Dirk Nowitzki's there, and we're like, I'm freaking out. The guy that I was dating at that time wasn't a huge sports fan, so I don't think it was as big of a deal for him. But we walk up to him because he was like greeting people and letting people take pictures with him.
Oh, wow.
So that was exciting. And so it finally gets to our turn, and the guy that I was dating at that time was like, oh, she's like a huge fan. And I just wouldn't talk. Like, I just stared at Dirk the entire time. And he just is looking at me, like, kind of smiling because Dirk's like a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And then I think I finally said, great job or something like that. And then we took a picture and then that was it. But I was just starstruck. Like, I was truly just like, oh my gosh, like, this is Dirk. And he just won the title. And it was a great moment.
And you didn't say a word.
I didn't say a word. I didn't make an impression.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm looking this up right now because I don't want to screw up my own story. But... do you know what his license plate is?
His license plate?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you're not a stalker? Why
no,
not?
I'm not.
Okay, because I'm looking this up because the honest truth is I don't recall exactly what it said, but I just know what it said. It was Dirk that I was behind in traffic. Because I'm looking it up and I'm like, I see Dirk 41 on there. That had to have been it. Because I'm driving in traffic and I'm thinking, that's a fun license plate, Dirk 41, but what does that mean? So whatever it was, it eventually clicked, and by then, the car was already down the road, and I never looked in there to confirm that it was him.
Dang.
But anyhow, that was...
that's funny.
That's my story. I guess
very exciting.
The bottom line is we both said the same amount of words to him. Yeah. Anyhow, so, okay. What was your... and I love this answer. Your earliest memory. And the reason I love it is because one of the things that we've done an unscientific study here on this program at the mic, it's that most people have these tragic or traumatic memories that we have to discuss.
Yeah.
That was the earliest memory, but yours was more fun. It was with your little sister, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm really close with my sister, and so we still are today.
And she's older or younger?
She's older than
so
me.
So the older sister.
By a couple years, yeah. And we just would always play around during the summers and just laugh and have a good time. So that's it's not a very exciting like memory,
but at least it's happy.
It's a good memory, yeah.
As opposed to some people getting here, this big spider fell on me when I was 2, something like that.
Have to have a therapy session.
Right. Like, because I think we've explored this. I think mine was screaming my head off while they pulled a splinter out of my foot or something.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. So so I'm glad that yours involved laughter and smiles. That's good. So your sister, a couple years older than you, and you were close growing up.
Yes.
You're close now?
We are,
Does she live locally?
She does. She actually lives in the Rockwell area. So
and that's specifically where you grew up, right?
Yes, it is. I love that area too.
Just outside of
Dallas, yeah. So, we're still really close, and she has 2 young boys, and so I'm also close with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you have other siblings or just her?
Just her.
Okay. So, not only are you the cool aunt, you are the aunt.
I'd say so. I feel like I've taken that title.
That's
and
awesome.
they love Steven now. Like,
awesome.
So they treat him really well and enjoy him. And now I'm like second fiddle because like they'll call to like play PlayStation with Steven. And I'm like, well, what? You don't want to talk to me? And they're like, can we just play with Steven? And I'm like,
oh, no.
Yeah, I've been replaced by my fiance. But it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's really cool. All right. So you also mentioned your sister is having the biggest impact on you in your life. How so?
Well, I mean, I just think the sibling bond is just something that is like irreplaceable. And she's the only person that's known me my entire life. And I just look up to her. I think she's a wonderful person and she's loyal and she's been there for me. And, I think as you get older, you realize what's really important in life. And relationships to me is that for me. Like relationships are really important.
And so what is your sister's name?
Amy.
Hi, Amy. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. That's. I'm glad you guys live so close to each other too.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty awesome. So, looking back on your life and how you got to where you are right now, are there points along the way where you're like, wow, that was a decision that really changed the course? Kind of like a choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So any of those moments that you'd care to share with us?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest ones was when I quit working at UNT. I was doing higher ed and I was bored and I was in my mid-20s and I was just kind of like, well, if I don't do it now, there's a chance that I'll never do it. And so I just took that leap of faith and started doing the internship with the Cowboys, and that led me down this path. But, if I had stayed at UNT, I'm sure my life would have been a lot different, and I probably wouldn't have met Steven because he works in production, and I met him working Rough Riders in Frisco. So
the minor league team for the Rangers. Yep.
So it's just kind of like you make decisions and you see what happens on that path.
Yeah, so you might have ended up on a career path where you're sitting in a room with someone else right now, but yet you're asking them the questions because you're the counselor.
Yes, yes, exactly.
All right, well, how about your most embarrassing moment?
Oh, gosh.
Tell us about this, Melissa.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
This one's always hard because I just feel like it's really silly, but I didn't really go out that much in college. Like, I wasn't a big-time drinker.
You lived on campus, obviously, right?
Yeah. So went out one night with some friends, and I think I just had one too many shots. Liquor does it for you, I feel like. But anyways...
Are you pretty good at holding your liquor?
No. I'm a lightweight.
Oh, no.
Actually, I remember what it was. We were playing beer pong. And like, because of beer pong, I was just intaking a little bit too much alcohol.
I have never played beer pong. For the record, I didn't drink in college.
Oh, yeah.
And now I do, but beer pong is not in my arena.
It's a fun game, and I'm a very competitive person.
Oh, no. So explain to me, since everybody listening knows exactly what it is. I think you correct me if I'm wrong. You bounce the ball. If it lands in the cup, you drink it. Is that what it is?
You toss the ball, and you've got like, I don't even know how many of these cups, but you have like 8 or 9 cups that are lined up like a triangle, I guess, like a bowling pin alley or whatever. And then you throw them in, and then if you get it in, then the other team has to drink.
Okay, got it.
So you're trying to get the other team.
You're trying to get them drunk or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds sanitary. That's for sure.
Right? I've always wondered about that.
Think about that. The ball has been on the floor in people's hands. It's been everywhere. Everywhere.
Well, we think about that more now than ever, too, with the pandemic. But I remember playing and being like, you would have like a cup of water next to your area. So like when the ball would bounce on the floor, you'd grab the ball, dip it in the water, and then like toss it. But
because the germs, it's holy water, obviously, because you're playing beer pong.
Right. But
it's just burning right off. All the demons, all the bad stuff getting burned right off of that ping pong ball.
I will say that we played a more sophisticated game because we would not drink from the cups.
Okay.
We would just have like a beer next to it and like drink the beer.
That's probably
we evolved.
wise.
We evolved.
Yes. Okay.
But anyways, I played one too many beer pong games and got a little bit too sick. And so this guy that I had liked for like half a year at least was there, and I had gotten sick. And so sadly, he had to take me home. And that was just a cringeworthy experience because I was like, you just don't want that to happen in general.
Did he see you throw up or hear you throw up or anything like that?
He did not.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm fortunate about that.
So that's helpful.
Very grateful.
Did you win the beer pong game, though?
Sadly, I don't remember.
Oh, really? I wonder why you don't remember. That's funny. Okay.
But the good news is, like, that person that I liked, we ended up still dating afterwards. So it wasn't a deal breaker,
That's
and like
good.
it wasn't like the end of the world. But it was the end of the world when I woke up, and I was just like, I can't believe I just did that. But I was young. I'm going to use that as an excuse.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. So what is something that you want to accomplish in your lifetime?
Oof, that's a good question. I feel like it continues to evolve, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think crazy out there is to eventually write a movie.
Yep.
But I think also I feel like growing and introspection are a really big deal for me. Like I want to continue to grow and become like a better person. So I think that's also like the ultimate goal is just to continue to learn and to be a better human being, which I feel like is important right now. Yeah, because if you look on TV, everyone's yelling at each other.
Right. And I think empathy is definitely something. Well, first of all, I don't have that trait. No, but I think that's something that is very important that a lot of people should aspire for. Are there any resources, any books or anything that you have discovered that you're like, oh, I've got to tell people about this?
For empathy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read a lot of books.
I may or may not be taking notes.
I mean, I obviously, like, my undergrad was in rehab studies, so I think I've always had, like, a desire to learn in that area, whether it's a Brené Brown book, which I know is kind of, like, trending right now. Mm-hmm. But just kind of stuff like that, where you're just kind of learning different ways to handle situations.
And her podcast is always trending at the very top.
Unlocking Us, yeah.
It's was it Brené Brown? Is that
the Unlocking Us, I think is what it's called.
It's either her or Joe Rogan. Always at the top of the list, you know?
Yeah. You know what's crazy is both of them are going to be in Texas because Brené lives down south, and then I read that Joe Rogan is moving his show to Texas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we've just got all of the big radio personalities in Texas, kind of, you know.
I will check that stuff out.
It's a boring answer, but it's significant to me. So
I wish people cared.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for on behalf of humanity, thanks for caring about us, Melissa. We appreciate it.
Yeah. You're welcome.
When's the last time you tried something new for the first time?
Oh gosh. I think this was like pre-pandemic. Yeah, it had to be. But I went to a concert by myself, which I think was a good idea because I have a lot of social anxiety, and this is like a way to manage that.
You just stand in the back or something?
I didn't. I was in the crowd. But, you know, like with social anxiety, you always think that everyone's like staring at you and that everyone's like judging you.
I was going to say, nobody realizes you're there alone except for you.
But it's like a mental game that you play on yourself. And so I remember before going, and I was just really stressed about it. And I was actually talking to Steven about it, and he was just like, well, you know, no one's thinking those things. Like you're just kind of like telling yourself all of these negative thoughts that don't exist. And I had a really good time, and it was a great concert. So.
Yeah, I would never judge you for going to a concert by yourself. What I may judge you on is what band was it? What artist?
I feel like I'm going to say his name wrong. It's Hozier.
Oh. I wish it was somebody I could make fun of. I don't know who that is either.
Yeah.
I can't say, well, that's why you should be embarrassed. You went to a New Kids concert.
I would not be ashamed of that, though. Like, if the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC came to town, I would go anytime.
Right. Okay. All righty. Well, so do you enjoy going to concerts and seeing live music?
I do. I love it.
Have you ever had to be like the camera operator or anything at one of those?
I've done that, yeah.
Okay.
I've done that before too. It's fun. Like I can't explain. Like you just get into the rhythm of the concert when you're shooting it, and so it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
However, you probably want to move your body and stuff, but you make the camera view shake.
Yeah. Limit that as much as possible for the director.
So, what's been the best concert that what have you enjoyed the most seeing live?
Oof. So Hozier was good because his vocals were great.
What kind of music is that?
Alternative.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would say
know that.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Well, Hozier. He had I don't know if some of his
Irish guy.
Yeah.
Long hair.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll listen to this later today.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
He's a pretty talented guy, but I would say overall my favorite concert has been Odessa.
Okay.
So.
And that's not spelled like the city.
No, there's a Z in there.
Odessa. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So should I try that too? That's called Edmonton music. Oh, I'm sorry. Electronic dance music.
Think of Edmonton and then try it.
Edmonton, a hotbed for electronic dance music.
But one thing that we wanted to do was go to the Red Rocks in Denver and watch Odessa live at the Red Rocks Amphitheater, which now seems like it's never going to happen because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But that's on the bucket list.
That's on the bucket list.
That'll be on the bucket list. That's a new addition.
All right.
Yeah.
Any regrets that you would care to share with us?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like I've learned a lot with every decision that I've made in my life, and so it's not necessarily that I have any regrets, but it's like I feel like I've made the best decision with the information that I've had, and so like I'm okay with where I'm at in my life.
And because one of the things that you had mentioned, if you don't mind, is you had said, you wish you had spent more time with your sister.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's understandable, but it almost, like you just said, what if you end up spending more time with your nephews?
Yeah.
To make up for that in your own mind.
That's true, yeah.
And so they get a better experience with you than they otherwise would have. I don't know.
That's very
silver
true.
lining. Look, empathy.
Absolutely.
That was that empathy.
That was well done. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I didn't even need a book or a podcast for that.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yes. What do I win? No, but I can understand. No one ever has enough time in their own minds for anything.
Yeah.
We always look back and just be like, oh, I really wasted a lot of time doing this when I could have been doing this. Or between you and me and everybody listening, I wish, and I'm sure I've said this before in the podcast too, that I had a sibling.
Oh, yeah.
I was an only child.
Yeah.
I mean, did it have its benefits? Of course it did. Are you kidding me? I got everything I wanted.
Yeah.
No, but I would have loved to have a playmate, a brother to roughhouse with, or have somebody other than a wall to throw the ball against,
Yeah.
Like that was my childhood, was throwing, and I had a blast. I had fake baseball leagues and stuff out in the carport where I'd throw a racquetball against the brick wall of my house. Every now and then I may or may not have hit the window. Anyway, and so I use my imagination a lot.
Right.
But I would have loved to have a brother.
So growing up, did you have to like wait on your parents to play like something?
Yeah, to play catch sometimes, yeah. Thankfully, the neighborhood I was in had lots of kids in it.
Okay.
So there was always something going on. Cool. But there was times, I guess, during the day, like in the summertime, that's when it was hard to come by. And, being a latchkey kid sometimes, you'd come home and, ta-da, I'm home alone. But at least, hey, there was He-Man.
Yeah.
There's He-Man cartoons on, so you could at least watch that.
What are He-Man cartoons?
No, stop. Please.
I'm not sure of that reference. I just don't want to assume.
No, are you for real?
I am actually.
Oh, no. It's like only the greatest cartoon of all time. It was only on for a few years. I was actually reading something recently and I was stunned because as a kid, it felt like it was my entire childhood. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking it was on from like 84 to 86.
Yeah.
It felt like, and I know it did reruns, all that stuff, but still, whatever.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, you should.
I will.
And you will
I'll
mock
report
me.
back.
You do that. You send me a link to Cat Chat Show, and you report back on He-Man.
Okay, I can do that.
I'm sure on YouTube you can find an episode or something like that, and
absolutely,
you will mock me. You will
no,
be the
not
one.
At all.
You will do your best to search deep for that empathy after you see He-Man cartoon. Let's see here. So anything else that in your life you want to write a screenplay or like a movie?
I would love to make a movie.
the other one was be more empathetic to people.
Yeah.
Any travel goals? Anything that any places you want to get to and see in your lifetime? Or
Oh yeah, definitely.
whereabouts?
I mean, gosh, that's a good question. I mean, Europe, everywhere, honestly. Like, I don't have a particular place that I just have to go to. I just want to see it all.
So when you and Steven get married,
Yeah.
assuming the world is normal-ish,
Yeah.
is there a place that you guys want to go, like on a honeymoon or something like that, maybe?
We've talked about that, and it's difficult to plan that.
I'm telling you, man, everything is messed up.
We want to go to the beach somewhere. So
Okay.
we've never been to Hawaii, so that's like a very kind of simple place to go to. But
Okay, Charleston, South Carolina.
that's where we should go.
Charleston, South Carolina. I will send you an email with about 24 places to visit around Charleston. Yeah.
I mean, he wants to go to the beach. I want to do a road trip.
So drive to Charleston.
Right? We'll get both. Best of both worlds.
Okay, all right.
But
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of flying, so that's my only problem with going to Europe, all of these places.
Well,
I get motion
I
sickness.
was going to ask you, why?
Yeah.
So wait, in the car you're fine?
Sometimes I get motion sickness in the car if I'm not driving
But it's
and I
mo-
haven't eaten. I'll
Yeah.
just for whatever reason start to get motion sickness, and then in the plane it's even worse. And I hate to admit this. Actually, this could be another cringeworthy. This could be my most embarrassing moment.
Oh no, I know where this
But
is going.
throwing up on the plane is a pretty embarrassing
So
moment.
you're the one that uses the bag in the seat back pocket.
I kid you not. When I get on the plane, I check for the
Yeah.
bag to make sure that it's there, because it's happened. I want to say at least twice, maybe 3 times on a plane. So that's why I have an issue with flying, because I get sick.
I can see that would be an issue, and I bet you're always looking for a direct flight too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
'Cause
I
if
cannot
you do
spend
a
a
connecting-
minute more on a flight.
I got to do this again?
Yeah.
In the same day?
Oh no.
Oh.
I don't know what it is. It just takes a lot out of me. I flew
Is
to.
it a takeoff? Is it the
It's both of
turbulence?
those. Yeah,
Is it-
it can be any of it. Usually when it's stabilized, I'm better. But
Wow.
when we start to descend, that's usually when I really start. If it's a rough descent, I'm just
So you put off popping your ears
yeah,
to barf.
Yeah.
And then worry about the ears later.
yeah. I have a whole system before getting on a flight. I get some gum. I try to eat something healthy and not greasy, and I try to hydrate. I take motion sickness medicine.
Steven knows all this, right?
He does. He
okay,
laughs.
This isn't going to be a surprise.
And right now it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
5-10 years down the line, he may roll his eyes.
Oh, no. I'm just thinking of you with kids or something. You guys want to have kids maybe?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to imagine you with a crying baby whose ears are hurting and he or she has no idea what is going on, Mom.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, it's worked for our kids. Take a bottle of water, just
Yeah.
with an eyedropper thing. And that way, you're always giving the baby something to swallow.
Oh,
and so
that's cool.
Their
Okay.
ears are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a
Swallowing
good
stuff.
idea.
So Steven's got to worry about the crying babies while Mom's over there barfing against the window.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Good luck.
I know.
Maybe by
it's
then
brutal.
it'll be better.
Yeah, maybe
right?
no trips until they're old enough to handle it.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I'll need them to comfort me.
Comfort me. Empathy.
Yeah.
Right, okay, very good. Any social media handles or anything we've missed here that you want to talk to people about?
No, I think I gave
You're
you
all
a
talked
couple,
out.
and
You're
I'm
like,
I don't even remember my
we're
own
good.
handles.
Okay.
How sad is that?
Okay, well, no, so I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything that we
You
wanted
even
to
got the cat
discuss.
chat one, so
Right, okay.
I mean, we're good.
Okay, so do you want me to give this out?
Yeah, you can.
MELZO 986.
There you go.
There's a lot to remember there. MELZO 986. That's on Twitter.
Yeah,
On Instagram. Am I giving that one out too?
you can.
Okay. M Gonzales, which is Gonzales 0986.
Dun, 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 dun.
You know I'm gonna ask what is 986, or should I not ask?
Nah, I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay, very good. Whatever that is. Melissa Gonzales, thank you so much for making time here on At the Mic. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I've had a great time.
This has been At the Mic with Keith, an independent podcast production. Look for At the Mic Show on Twitter to connect.